Hi guys, Terry here. Hey, it is July 1st, so it's time for the next sheetload of cards available from Crafty Owl. I will have a link down below to her video. Please click on that link and watch her. We didn't have one for June. I missed it, but I totally understand. Crafty Owl has a bunch of stuff going on in her life, just like I think a lot of us do. So I can appreciate that she took a month off. She's done this for years, and she had some stuff going on. So, yeah, I think we all do. I've got stuff that's weighing on my heart, and if you do, I am thinking of you. But this is the July one. So I think the thing that I love about her videos are that you can watch it. She's very calming. And you can download this PDF. She shows you how in her video. And she just gives us this wonderful recipe each month. So I so appreciate what she does. She does the work so that you can just follow along and make some cards and, you know, use this stuff in your stash. So love that she is generous that way. So I think what I'm trying to figure out is what kind of cards I'm going to make. I'm thinking about what kind of sentiment I'm going to pull out. And I think what I'm most drawn to this month is thinking of you. So I want to go through my stamps and kind of find something that's thinking of you. And then I want to find some pretty paper. So her set always has just some wonderful options. She gives you alternatives and suggestions because she wants you to make the card your own. So I'm going to look for a stamp set and some pattern paper and be right back. This beautiful paper pack is from Stampin' Up. I don't know how old it is. It's called Wonderful World. I'll link to it if they still have it. I've been trying to use up my stash and not buy. You know, they come out with beautiful paper a couple times a year, so I'm just trying to use up the packs that I have. And so I pulled out this. I love, it's actually hard to decide. The paper is two-sided, and of course it all coordinates. So I'm going to look through my solid cardstock and pull out some coordinating. I think I need, so it calls for two pieces of the 12 by 12 pattern paper. And then it calls for a sheet of 8.5 by 11 to coordinate with it. And then it's also going to have the sentiment on the front. So it's got the card base, and then this sentiment piece is layered. So I'll pull out the 8.5 by 11, and hopefully that helps me decide which of these pieces to use. They're all beautiful. So let me pull that cardstock. Okay, I normally use white for my card bases, but I think because this purple matches this print here, I narrowed it down to these two. I think I'm going to use 6 sheets of the purple that I'll cut in half for the card bases. And then I need a piece for the layering of the sentiment, one 8.5 by 11, and then a scrap of another. And then I'm going to use my Gina K 8.5 by 11 for the sentiment piece. So we actually are going to make 12 cards, and we can cut out 12 of the sentiment. Now I need to dig for a Thinking of You type stamp set. So let me dig through my stamps. I store my stamp sets in these pouches. I should say this is my stamp sets that are not Stampin' Up or Close to My Heart, because those come in a very nice case. So I have those over on a DVD stand. But these are my stamp sets that are made by various other companies. And I've got a category here called Words, so I can quickly just flip through these and kind of pull out the ones that I use a lot. If I don't find something here, then I'll look at my Stampin' Up and my Close to My Heart stamps. So I'm going to flip through here and find something that kind of catches my eye. I'll just mention too, I think what I'm looking for is something that fits on the front of that card that she has here. And what's nice is when you print this PDF, you can actually take your stamps and lay it on here to see if this sentiment will be a good size for that. You also can adjust this by measuring your stamp set and making it the size that you want. So just another way you can make it your own. This one here is from Clearly Whimsy Stamps. I just love this set. It just seems like a good size for a sentiment, and I love these things. So that's a possibility. Let me keep looking. So this stamp set really resonates with me. I love these. This is from Penny Black. I will have a link to their website. I love these. Listen, wrapping you in love at a time when words fall short. Isn't that beautiful? Those we love don't go away. They walk beside us every day. Wishing you healing, sending you love. That's just a nice, I mean, if I had a set of these, when I see something happening in somebody's life, I could just pop the card in the mail to them, write a little personal note to them. So I think I'm going to use these, and I think I'm going to stamp, make a variety pack and stamp these different ones. Many of them will fit in that sentiment, and I can cut it to size if I need to. So I'm going to grab this one. Okay, I've got my papers cut and I got my sentiment stamped. So I just want to quickly remind you, or maybe you're just now getting into card making. I use my Tonic guillotine style cutter. I love this for cutting thick cardstock. It's just so easy to use and doesn't take up a lot of space on your desk, so I love that. I'll have a link to these on my blog post. When I'm using thick cardstock for my card base, it's important to use a score pal. This one here is made by We Are Memory Keepers. There's several brands out there. I'll link to a couple of them. But I love this because you can score your thick cardstock, and then that just makes for a nice crisp edge on your cards there so that you don't have any little wrinkles when you're folding that thick cardstock in half. So I love that. I love to use my Misty for putting my sentiments onto, you know, for good stamping. Another thing that people often ask me is, how do I get such a crisp black image from my sentiment stamps? And I love to use VersaFine Black Onyx ink. It's just wonderful, so love that. And then when I'm washing off my stamps, I use a Lawn Fawn stamp chamois. This you just get wet, wring it out. It'll dry and be crispy crunchy, but when you get it wet and damp, you can wipe your stamps off. It'll stain, but this doesn't get on anything. So I love that. And then I keep this in one of those little plastic jewel cases. If I'm not making cards, then I will just open this and let this air dry in my desk drawer. But I love that for keeping it moist. It keeps it moist for a couple days while I'm making cards. And then I also like to assemble all the card elements by using my Tombow Mono Multi-Liquid Glue. So love that. Like I said, I'll have links. If you use my links on my blog post, I make a few pennies when you order it on Amazon. So I am ready to start gluing and putting the cards together. I can't wait to see what they look like. Here's another little tip I wanted to remind you of. When you're stamping that sentiment, and if something doesn't go well on it, remember that there's a second side to the piece of cardstock that you're stamping. So this one here, I think I pushed too hard on this side and the W got funky. So I simply flipped it over and I was able to stamp on the second side. It's white paper, but it's thick enough that when you glue it down, nobody's going to see the messed up side. So just a tip. Okay, I've got the first one fully assembled. And one thing I'll mention is I love the purple with this paper. I love the purple with the pattern paper, but because it's a dark colored card base, I'm putting a white insert in there so that when you write your message, you know, it'll show up good. So love that. It came together really good. What I would suggest is that when you're assembling it, dry fit your pieces first, because it's easy to get mixed up between the wider piece and the two skinnier pieces. So when I say dry fit, just don't glue it down. Place it on there. Make sure you've got everything in the right direction. and that the spacing looks good. Just lay it on there first before you start gluing. And then the next thing I would suggest is glue down the two side pieces. And of course you're making sure you've got 1/8 of an inch all around there, and you're eyeballing it. So you're putting that one on and then this one on. And then you'll glue this one, because if you line up these two, it'll be easier to line up that middle piece there. And then I think what I'm going to do is whatever color is in the middle here, that'll be the these sentiment pieces have two different colors on them. So what I'm going to do is match that middle piece with that. They both would go. I just think it's a way to bring in that middle color again. So just a tip. And I'll also say that on the second day of the month, Crafty Owl has a more of an instructional video. So the first day of the month she has the intro video, and then the second of the month she shows how to assemble it. So I highly recommend watching her videos. Just got done assembling the cards. I used I raised up this using pop dots there, and I think that just adds another dimension to the card. So I love how they turned out. I love the purple and green. So pretty. So I love the Stampin' Up paper, and I love that I was using what was in my stash, and I think they just turned out so beautiful. So I ended up with 4 different sentiments, and I think I'm ready to mail these out to friends, tell them I'm thinking of them. And I hope you give it a try. So I have a link below to Crafty Owl's SheetLoad of Cards YouTube channel, and it will show the papers that you need, the measurements, and like I said, watching her video, she'll show you how to assemble it. So I thank you for watching today, and I hope you have a wonderful 4th of July. Bye guys.